This is the Skate Safe campaign. My name is Janice.
My name is McGuire.
Brenda.
Rose.
Grace.
All right, so to start our presentation, I will be discussing the strengths and weaknesses of the Skate Safe GCU campaign. Overall, I would say we ran a fairly successful campaign with the resources and circumstances that we had to work with. I believe that there were many strengths that Skate Safe GCU presented as we sought to educate GCU students on skateboarding safety. One of the main strengths of our campaign was that we presented a topic that was timely and relevant for all GCU students. Skateboarding and other forms of mobile transportation are really popular at GCU for our students, and many, if not all students, have had experience with accidents as a result of skateboarding by either being a victim or being a witness. So the message of our campaign is one that all students could relate to and want to get involved with. Another strength of our campaign is that we had a strong social media presence on Instagram. Our account really took off. We overall got 81 followers, and our posts would average 18 likes and have 111 impressions. And this is really important since media is one of the most effective ways to communicate with students, especially in that target age demographic that we were going for, which is 18 to 21-year-old GCU students. So I think we were really able to harness social media for the benefit of our campaign. A third and final weakness that I would see with our campaign is that we had an ability to quickly adapt our campaign to utilize online resources as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Because of this pandemic and because all the students had to leave GCU's campus, we weren't able to host a lot of the events that we had previously planned on, such as having a speech to ASGCU and presenting in-person petitions to students around campus. But we were able to quickly adapt and be resourceful with what we could use virtually. So instead of a speech, for example, we used Instagram Live, and instead of petitions, we used online surveys to our advantage. Now I'm going to discuss some of the weaknesses that our campaign presented, because even though it was a strong campaign overall, I do think we still had some improvements that could have been made. And here's some of those weaknesses. One of the main weaknesses that our campaign had was that there was a lack of presence on social media platforms, such as Facebook and other social platforms. Since we had such a large following on Instagram and good feedback on that account, if we had further expanded our campaign to other social media platforms, I think we could have reached even more people. Another weakness was that, as I mentioned previously, we were unable to host any events on campus due to COVID-19. Although this wasn't really in our control, it still was a weakness for our campaign since we were unable to hold events like tabling on campus, which further inhibited our ability to reach students with our message. And then finally, a third weakness was that the goals of our campaign were not always clear to our audience. Although we always attempted to make sure that our campaign's purpose was clear to our audience and stressed that we were on the side of students, not against them, there were some who could have been ostracized by the message of our campaign if they were unsure of what it meant. Many people who are avid skateboarders, for example, could have seen our campaign as an attack on skaters and their rights to skate around campus, and that could have turned them away from our campaign as a result of this.
All right, now I'm going to talk about the improvements for our campaign. So because McGuire said because of COVID-19, we were unable to do what we had planned on doing, so we had to take it into a more virtual route and do most of our advertising on Instagram. We could have done more promoting on different social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter because they do have the same target audience as Instagram. We could have reached more people, which would have been an improvement for our campaign. We could have hosted more events if COVID-19 did not happen. And we could have posted flyers to reach those people. We could have also teamed up with a GCU club for more support for our campaign. You can go to the next slide. The reason that these improvements are necessary is because connecting on more social media platforms will reach more of the targeted audience, like I said, and having more events are important to connect with the audience and create that relationship between the campaign and the audience so they feel more eager to support us and really commit to our cause. Why connecting with another club is necessary would be because they help boost awareness and participation with the campaign. Establishing partnerships with organizations and people who have target larger social media followings can boost participation, which is what Freeman, Potnib, and Rockab said. And this could have really taken our campaign to the next level to help us reach more people and to really spread the word about our campaign.
Hi, I'm here to talk about the communication theories. So there was about 3 theories that I found: the social cognitive theory and the theory of reasoning and action, and the third one is the theory of planned behavior. So I'm just going to give a brief overview of these two. So the social cognitive theory shares the importance of role models and expresses a certain role to cognitive, vicarious, self-reflective, and self-regulatory processes. So the man who founded the social cognitive theory was Albert Bandura, I think I pronounced that right. He was a professor at Stanford University, but he's more widely known for being the man in charge of the Bobo doll experiments. Throughout that experiments, he found that children learned through observing other people and social interactions. So this theory is in the most simply way put, is observing others. And the other theories that I found were the theory of reasoning and action and the theory of planned behavior. So this is using attitudes and beliefs to predict the behavior of people. And to further explain that, so these 2 theories are typically grouped together because they're so similar, and they just try to predict the attitudes of people. But below I have a graph that you can see. The one on the left is the theory of reasoning and action, and the one on the right is the social cognitive theory. And then on the next slide, I have why these theories guided our campaign and how they guided our campaign. So understanding the cognitive theory helps us understand that why we needed to convince GCU students to convince their behavior, and those students will be an example for other students to do the same. This is why we came up with the 5 safety tips, and these tips will help others become more observant and aware of their surroundings. So observing students will help other students see the difference. I have an example here. So students will observe others skateboarding and walking on their phone. Therefore, they will think it's okay to skateboard and walk on their phone. So through our campaign, we're trying to teach students to not do that. So that theory was one that backed us up on that thought process. So the theory of reasoning action is used to predict how people will act based on their pre-existing attitudes and interactions. So understanding this law, or this theory, is is why we made our survey. So trying to figure out what their thoughts were beforehand could help figure out how to properly target those people. And the theory of planned behavior is a theory that links people's behaviors and beliefs. So if we could change our audience's beliefs in our campaign, then this theory says that their behaviors will change as well.
All right. Initially, we had established the idea of the campaign with safety as our priority. That is what Skate Safe is all about. GCU prides themselves in putting students and the safety of its students first. That theme is kept relevant throughout our campaign as well. It's not about singling one demographic of students, but making sure our campaign works towards the safety of all of its students and staff. It's about reducing the injuries that have been made prevalent through our research, and it's about helping to contribute to a way that can possibly stop and reduce the amount of reported injuries. Through the data we collected, we were even made further aware of the fact that students noticed this issue as well. With that, it has helped us notice what GCU students recognize that safety lacked in an area, and with a common theme and goal, we worked toward a solution that helped bring awareness and make change to this to prevent this issue.
Okay. And I'll be talking about societal discourse working against campus culture. So skateboarding is a popular form of transportation for college students to get around campus in, and although the Skate Safe campaign was created for the safety of all students, limiting skateboarding can be seen as interfering with this popular campus transportation mode that is often associated with the college experience. College students who skateboard as a means for transportation do so because it's not only fun and convenient, but also because it's practical, with bicycling speeds and pedestrian-like flexibility. With new rules and regulations to this popular activity, many students might see the campaign as interfering with their college experience and altering the well-established skating culture on the GCU campus. Therefore, students may react negatively to any changes that cause a shift in campus culture. That's it. Are we done?